What's the stupidest thing someone has said to you with confidence? Well, maybe you wouldn't have almost died in childbirth if you were living off the land. That government spies on people through dead pixels in their screens SMH. I'm only allergic to macaroni pasta. I'm okay with all the others. So, you're allergic to a shape? When you drill a hole, you need to place your hand behind the spot where you're drilling. He said it'll make it easier to drill. I really didn't want to add a hole to my hand. If they don't teach cursive in schools anymore, who will be the next grade writer? You know, the sun is only 7 football fields away. My 6th grade science teacher told the class that the moon was bigger than the sun because the moon covered the sun during an eclipse. Edit, my first award ever. Thanks. Totally looked me in the eyes and yelled that all I do is sit on my ass and that I should go get a job. I'm in a fucking wheelchair. True story. A fraternal twin can't have identical twin kids. The sun is made of gold. We debated for hours. He still refused to believe it was not. Project manager at a shipyard I worked at. As we watch workers grind and chip paint off the side of the ship and let it fall into the water. Why are we worried about getting paint in the harbor? It's marine grade paint. My history teacher in high school. She didn't really say it, but she had a question on her test that basically asked where Pearl Harbor was, and to her the correct answer was Japan. So everybody who answered Hawaii got it marked wrong. There was a student revolt and she insisted it was in Japan because there was no way Japanese aircraft would make all across the ocean to attack us. We then had to explain to her that aircraft carriers were a thing back then. She wasn't convinced. Anyway, parents got involved and eventually the principal had to step in. The whole test was called into question because of some other questionable stuff. The whole thing was thrown out and we all got A's. Coworker of mine after they find out I'm colorblind. So you can see this? */is holding a red tray we used to carry orders out**. I mean yay, but wait, you can see the tray. */confused for a moment, did you think I couldn't see the object because it's red? Well duh, if you're colorblind you can't see things that are that color, right? They aren't invisible to me, you dumbass. I just can't properly tell what color it is. Edit, I know the trays were red because they were literally called the red trays. It too, deciding to put in a second story regarding people and my colorblindness. I was playing Rocket League with a buddy. We are in my club/clan thingy and got matched against people in a different one, so the team colors we used isn't of the standard ones. Our team's was white and the others was apparently a green. I complain about it being difficult to distinguish which net to shoot at sometimes, and my buddy asks, do you want me to screenshot my screen and send you a picture so you can see their color? I stayed silent and let him think about what he said. It took him about a minute before he realized what he had asked. Asians don't have fingerprints. There are no sharks in the Atlantic Ocean. It was so dumb I had to look it up to make sure I wasn't missing something. If you ever fall out of a plane without a parachute, you should grab onto the ground when you hit it so that you don't bounce, because that is the bounce that kills you, not the first impact. He swore that it was true and that a skydiving instructor had told him. My brother-in-law said that black people have 6 toes. I'm black and said that isn't true. We actually argued over it. People in high school didn't believe me when I told them that English came from England and was indigenous to England. Similarly, for some reason, someone in college insisted that English was indigenous to America. Space was created by Disney to further the hoax of space/Earth being round. He was dead serious, and he quoted his own brain after much research as his source. I wish I was kidding. I worked in its support and provided escalation support for the help desk and desktop support teams. One day a desktop support tech came into my office for help. The laptop couldn't access the internet. I asked her to open a command prompt and ping the router IP, and she got request timeouts. A point at which any halfway reasonable tech would stop and say, oh, the computer's not on the network. She, on the other hand, got the most know-it-all snotty tone and said to me, I need you to focus on the problem. He cannot get on the internet. He doesn't even use this ping thing. And Frank is Hitler's daughter. I learned all about it. My front desk gym rep. I gave them a 1-week free gym membership. March 27th to March 35 th. That she could never use a sperm donor to have a kid because she wasn't 100% sure that the baby/child would speak English. A distant cousin, who has long been a complete dumbass, once told me that whatever direction she is facing is north. It came up when I was on the phone giving someone directions and she was nearby. I said something like go north on X street, then take a left on Y, etc. She overheard me and said that I didn't make any sense because whatever direction you're facing is north, so north changes depending on which way you are facing. I said no, north is north, it's only the direction you're facing if you happen to be facing north, and she started arguing with me over it. She definitely was not just fucking with me because she is a dumbass that has a long history of saying really stupid shit. When I was moving to Hawaii, I had a friend ask if they had cars/roads there. She believed they got around using tiny boats. I've heard a lot of confident stupid shit in my time, but this is the weirdest. The council had to tear down all the new houses they built because the toilets were facing Mecca and this offended Muslims. The guy genuinely believed this. When I went into the nuclear navy, I got the equivalent of a PhD in nuclear engineering in 6 months. All the real nuclear engineers just fell down laughing. Talk about brainwashing. Edit. Wow, this blew up. To clarify, the actual engineers, I was one, were designing and building a nuclear power plant. A number of the Navy guys were hired to train the future operators and run the simulator. I think we were in the lunchroom when he said this. When my laptop had a lag spike, my friend told me the laptop was hacking itself. Oh, I don't believe in electrons. Was talking to an old hippie about weed once. He insisted that there existed 2 different kinds of grams, metric and imperial. The Greeks didn't have metal. You shouldn't wear a seatbelt because, in the event of a crash, you're better off being thrown out of the car than being trapped in it. When I was in grade 10 of high school, in the US, so we were 15 over 16-year-olds, a guy in my class argued with me because he was insistent that the penis has a bone because, and I quote, why else would it be called a boner? A few of my coworkers and I went out to eat after work to a local bar and grill. One of my coworkers is pescatarian. Another one of my coworkers, Chris, is prone to speaking with absolute confidence about things he has incredibly little knowledge about. Janice, pescatarian, orders buffalo shrimp, which is listed under a header of wings, and bites Chris with supreme confidence, corrects her, and says no dear, those are wings. He got possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen as the table started laughing at him uncontrollably. I had a roommate in college who visited Spain and thought that it was hilarious that people there commented on his accent. For him, I don't have an accent. I'm an American. Tom, you're one of the reasons that people think that we are all stupid. In a similar vein, a friend of mine in college had a boyfriend from the UK. You would not believe how many people asked him how he was able to speak English so well. It was horrifying. You're not Asian, you're Chinese. They laid their jacket right beside a stove. Don't worry, it's waterproof. Edit. Thank you all so much for the awards and amazing comments. You can only get COVID-19 if you get bitten by someone who had it. I wish there was a window in between us so I didn't have to look at you. How can it be 9 AM here, Toronto, and 6 AM in Vancouver at the same time? A work colleague, years ago. I tried to explain it, but it didn't work. Edit. Wow, this resonates with a lot of people. I remember that she was a very sweet and kind-hearted lady and she really could not understand it. I think she lacks some basic knowledge, so the concept of time zones was too advanced for her. Also, thank you for the award, kind stranger.